Hello, beautiful truth seekers. Welcome in or welcome back to the Third Flame Tarot. My name is Amber. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I am thrilled that you're here. Today's reading is going to be for the sign of Gemini. Now, if you're interested in learning a bit more about yourself, Gemini, in the first video that I posted here on my channel for you, I had a whole intro bit where I discussed your sign, your house, your planet, your colors, your body parts, and tarot cards. If you're interested in checking that out, go ahead and hit up the comments. I'll put a link there for you to go watch the first reading I did for you, May's reading. But Gemini, first of all, happy birthday. We are still in Gemini season, and what an amazing Gemini season this is. You have got so much going on in your sign right now, and most notably Jupiter. Now, Jupiter just moved from Taurus into your sign, and Jupiter has not been in Gemini for 12 years. So this is a big deal, and you'll get to hog Jupiter all to yourself for the next 12 months. Now, Jupiter is the largest planet in the solar system. It's known as the king of the gods. It's all about expansion, growth, learning, philosophy, wisdom, and optimism. So those are all amazing qualities, but there's a little but here. But Jupiter is it's whimsical and spiritual, and Gemini is more analytical and a rule follower. It's definitely more factual. So these can be kind of conflicting energies with Jupiter in Gemini. But if you remain open-minded to taking on new ideas or philosophies about life, now is the perfect time to do it. So with Jupiter in your house, in your sign, Gemini, be open-minded to different ideas, concepts, and open yourself up to maybe different spiritual perspectives that you've never taken before. But that's not it going on in Gemini right now. So we also have your planet, Gemini. Mercury is in Gemini. Now, Mercury as your ruler, Mercury is the messenger god. He is all about learning and analyzing. He's a messenger. He comes bringing curiosities and inspiration to learning and broadening your mind. It's also a very social planet. And Gemini is, of course, an air sign, which is very social. But with the curiosity element of Mercury being in your house, this is going to help aid you when it comes to broadening your mind spiritually too. Because with Jupiter in your sign, this is going to mean you might feel a bit more curious about concepts that you haven't entertained before. And Gemini, you might also feel a bit more social at this time with your ruling planet in your sign, getting out there and talking to people and meeting new people and getting into deeper conversations that will help expand you spiritually. But that's not it, Gemini. We also have Venus in your house, and Venus is the planet of love, beauty, and fertility. So this might be, a little bit flighty, right? Because Gemini is very analytical. They love the facts, right? And with Venus here, it might be a little bit contradictory. Venus is a very flowy and feminine planet, and Mercury is a very masculine planet, and Gemini is masculine. So, this could go either way. It could go to where you're getting more curious about love and getting out there and experiencing new relationships. But I think the opposite side of the spectrum is going to be an option as well with the curiosity about love. You might be in a long-term relationship or a relationship in general where you're feeling more curious about what it's like elsewhere. So we might see a bit of both sides of the spectrum here. People getting into relationships, but also people getting out of them. We might see an uptick in ghosting and flighty one-night stands. So be prepared for that. If that's not what you're looking for, make sure to really invest time into any new person that you might encounter. All right, Gemini, before we get into your reading and pulling cards, of course, I have to talk about my meditation today. So meditation today was very surface level. I had a hard time getting into meditation again today. I do have personally, my lunar return is coming up in a couple of days, and sometimes I have more difficulty around remembering dreams and my meditations with my lunar return. It's very strange, but so meditation was a bit hard to get into. I had to sit into it. I had to sit in it for quite a while. But when I did get in, there was some interesting things that happened. So the first thing I see is a white rabbit. And of course, the first thing you think of is Alice in Wonderland. And so I'm looking at the white rabbit, and it starts hopping down a dirt path. And it gets to a new pathway of stepping stones. And I actually auditorily heard stepping stones. And then I watched the little white rabbit hop from one stone to the next. And I followed the white rabbit down this stone pathway. And there were plants. It was like a jungle. There was a lot of tropical looking plants and big ferns, stuff like that. And I was following the rabbit down this trail, and we came to a clearing, and there was a giant gold Aztec statue of just the head, like an Aztec head statue, and it was pure gold. And I remember looking at it and being like, wow, this is amazing. This is probably like a holy relic. So then I walked behind the back, and when I came around the back, I noticed that there was like a plastic flappy thing like you would find on some kind of toy that you put the batteries in. And so I turned around the back and I saw the flap, and I lifted it up, and there was indeed a place to put batteries. And then I realized that this giant Aztec gold head was plastic that looked gold, and you could put batteries in it, and it would probably do some kind of, I don't know, sound or I don't know, blinky something or another. It felt like I saw this, and it was really amazing. It was like it looked like so good. And then I came around the back, and it was just a cheap toy. So that definitely brings me into the mindset of all that glitters isn't gold, right? So be careful, like the people that you encounter. Like I said, with Venus in your sign, things might look really good on the surface, but you don't want to skip over the details. But the next thing I saw, actually, before I saw the next thing, I had an auditory hallucination where I heard, "Linner is a sinner, not a winner." I was like, okay, Linner is a sinner, not a winner. And then a visual started, and I saw a lion. But it was a lion that had been partially shaved to look like a poodle. And so it had this big mane, but its body was shaved, and it had like really cheesy puffs on its feet. And its tail looked really long because its fur was shaved, but there was a puff at the end of the tail that was on fire. And this lion was waving its tail like this, and I was watching the flame, the tracers of the flame. And then it turns its head and looks at me, and its eyes are pure black. And that's when the scene changes, and I actually saw a couple of tarot cards, which is very unusual for me. I don't generally see tarot cards in my meditation, but I saw the Devil in reverse and the Strength card in the upright. And then, you know, I'm very surface level meditation after that. I kind of come out a little bit and I'm having a hard time getting in, which was interesting because my singing bowl today, it was the same. I always meditate before my readings. And using my singing bowl, I was having a really hard time getting it to make sound. It was very quiet. But anyway, I sat there for quite some time and then finally I went back in and I saw a red apple and it was the perfect red apple. It was beautiful. And then I see some movement down at the bottom of the apple and a snake begins to appear. And the snake wraps itself around the apple and then its head comes up over the top of the apple and its fangs come out and it bites the top of the apple. And of course, the first thing I think of is the poison apple. So yes, things might be looking good to you right now, but be careful. It could be an illusion. And that's definitely a big feeling I'm getting out of your meditation today. And then there was one more thing that happened in my meditation. At the very end, I was in a lot of static again and I was about to come out of meditation and then I heard, "Welcome, Matt. Welcome, Matt." And I saw a door with a welcome mat that said welcome on it. And in my head, I said, "Welcome, Matt," but it sounded like welcome Matt, like Matt is a person. So I'm not sure what that means. It'd be interesting to know if that resonates with somebody out there. But yeah, Gemini, let's see how this plays out in your reading. Should we? I think so. Let's go. Gemini, 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 Gemini. I like saying the word Gemini. I don't know, it's really fun to say. Gemini. I hope you guys are doing really good out there. You know, with Jupiter in your sign for the next 12 months, I mean, really take advantage of that if you can. I'm so jealous. I've been waiting for so long for Jupiter to make it back to me. I am a Leo, Leo sun and a Leo moon. So I've got a couple more years before I get to experience the Jupiter goodness. And I cannot wait. Jupiter is associated with Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is the 9th house on the zodiac wheel, which is all about spirituality, religion, education, travel, optimism, spirituality. And I love all of that. So, you know, take advantage of that. It might be a good time to like question your belief system, right? That's what it's feeling like to me. Yeah. Yeah, I think the last reading I did for you was the Gemini new moon. And in that reading, we got a theme of self-improvement. So the Virgo card came out for you in that reading, which is all about health and self-improvement. But it came out with the 4th house card, which is Cancer, and it's all about home and family life. So the theme for your reading was you are wanting to improve your home and family life. Either you're already in a relationship and you are looking to improve it, or you're looking to improve by leaving a relationship and looking elsewhere to improve your circumstances, your home life circumstances. All right, Spirit, what do we got for the sign of Gemini, please? Gemini, Spirit. We're here to get an energy update on the sign of Gemini for their birthday month. Let's get a couple more shuffles. 1, and 2. All right, Spirit, we're here to get an energy reading for the beautiful sign of Gemini, please. Three base cards for the sign of Gemini. Vesta. Mars. And 12th house. All right, so the first card out is Vesta, and Vesta it's a depiction of a nude woman, so I'm gonna have to cover some of her up, but you can see she's this beautiful, seductive looking woman laying on her back, nude, and let's get this lighting a little better here, huh? Let's point this up a bit. There, that's better. And she's laying on her back nude, and you can see she's got this little button for a face. So that's definitely a lot of what I was feeling within your meditation and after researching the planets in your sign right now. It definitely feels like with Venus in Gemini, there's going to be a lot of one-night stands and some maybe flighty sexual energy floating around the collective. That's definitely the energy I'm getting off of this card. And then the next card we have is Mars. Now, Mars just moved into Taurus, and that's another set of conflicting energies. Mars is a fire element. It's very action-oriented and determined. And Taurus is the slow and steady wins the race. They're grounded and earthy, feminine energy. So there's a bit of conflicting vibrations there with Mars in Taurus. And this can cause a bit of frustration because Mars comes in and wants us to move quick, make things happen fast. But Taurus is slow. So you might find that you're wanting things to move fast and they're not. So it can get frustrating. So be careful with this Mars in Taurus and learn to be patient, patient not only with yourself but with others. And make sure, like I said, you're investing time into getting to know people instead of just hopping in the love stack. You know what I mean? And then the last card we've got here in your base reading is the 12th house. I don't know if I showed you this card. Did I show you Mars? There's Mars. Ooh, look! Is that a lion? It is a lion. I never noticed that about this card before. I saw a lion in my meditation with its tail on fire, and Mars is a fire element. Interesting. The lion in my meditation had black eyes. It felt like it was parading as beautiful and polished, but with its eyes black, there was a darkened soul within there. It was like an untrustworthy feeling is what I got from it. But the next card we've got here, Gemini, is the 12th house, which is the last house on the zodiac wheel. It's ruled by Pisces, and Pisces is all about the deep subconscious. It's about spirituality, mysticism, tarot, all things spiritual, all things divination. And just like I was talking about with Jupiter in your house right now, you might be opening up your perspective to more deep and philosophical concepts. You can see in this card too, there are 2 triangles. And one triangle has a skull in it, and the other one has a butterfly in it. And that symbolizes death and rebirth, transformational energy. Which feels like Scorpio, Pluto. Now, if you're unaware, we do still have Pluto in Aquarius in retrograde right now, and that's affecting all the zodiac signs. Pluto is a planet of transformation, and when it's in retrograde, that's internal transformation. So I feel like a lot of us are going to be experiencing big changes in our life. But with Venus in Gemini right now, it might not be the best time to make really big life decisions. So keep that in mind. But yeah, Gemini, it looks like you're opening your mind up to new spiritual belief systems. And with you being an air element and so analytical, I mean, you are a mutable sign. And the mutables are the analytical minds of the zodiac. Same as Virgo, and you and Virgo share the planet Mercury too. But yes, you have, with Jupiter in your sign, you definitely have an energy that you can tap into where you'll be able to learn spiritual concepts a lot faster. The only problem is you're going to have to open up your mind to things that might seem illogical or irrational to you, Gemini. But there is so much magic to the universe. There is so much that we don't know. And I mean, all things are possible. So maybe try and hold that kind of thought processing while you explore new spiritual ideas and concepts. All right, Spirit. What else we got for Gemini? Let's get 2 more shuffles. Last shuffle. All right, Spirit, what do we have for the sign of Gemini, please? Why is Vesta and Mars here? That's a fiery sexual energy, Gemini. Why is Vesta and Mars here, please? Thank you. Ooh, hubris. See? Okay, so in this deck, there are a lot of cards that are not in the traditional tarot. This card I just learned about the other day, and it is the card that follows the Tower in this deck. The Tower is all about destruction. It is destiny. And hubris is a very dark energy. It's like breaking of spiritual laws. And I saw the lion in my meditation with black eyes. It seemed dark. Okay, what else? What else, Spirit? What else do we have for Gemini for the month of June, please? What else do we have for Gemini, please? What else for Gemini? Thank you. Ooh, the Eight of Wands in the reverse. Yeah. See, that's exactly what I was talking about. Ghosting energy. Flighty energy. The Eight of Wands in the upright is quick communication. It's one of the fastest moving cards in the deck. But in the reverse, it's like it came and it went just as fast. Yeah. Okay. What else? What else for Gemini, please? What else for Gemini, Spirit? Okay, thank you. The Death card in reverse. Resistance to an ending. Okay. And then we've got the Five of Vessels. Oh my gosh. This card is also very dark, Gemini. Okay. There's some nudity in this I'm gonna have to cover up. But you can see on the card there is a man and he has a sword in his hand and he has cut this body up down here into multiple different pieces. It's very dark and ruthless type of energy. But let's look up in the book about these cards. So hubris here comes after the Tower, which is, it's a breaking of a natural law. It's breaking of a spiritual law. It's a dark energy. And then we've got the Eight of Wands here in the reverse, which is like somebody came in quick with communication, but they left just as fast. And now we've got the Death card in reverse, which is a resistance to an ending. Like, this made you upset. And then we've got the Five of Vessels in the reverse, or Five of Vessels in the upright. And there is a man holding a decapitated head and a body on the ground in multiple pieces. So what is going on here, Gemini? Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay, hubris. Let's read up on hubris a little bit here. Page 149. Hubris. The element is fire. Planet is Mars. And look, we've got Mars right here, Gemini. Wow. Okay. It starts off with, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations." Cut down to the ground? Look at this card. Cut down to the ground. What? Oh, I got tingles. Whew. Okay. For thou, how art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation. In the sides of the north, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. Hubris is a mythological term meaning defiance and outrage,
originally applied to provocative behavior towards the gods.
Provocative behavior. And we've got Vesta here. That's exactly the energy I was getting. Provocative behavior with Mars and Vesta here. And that's this person. Okay. It reveals a certain posture of arrogance, audacity, or pride, which the lion in my meditation as well, which leads to insubordination and to the violation of divine laws, city laws, family values, or even nature's patterns. When we speak of the concept of hubris, most of the narratives and examples in which it is used involve a being either with an unbelievable beauty. Oh wait, let me read that again. When we speak of the concept of hubris, most of the narratives and examples in which it is used involve a being either with unbelievable beauty or a masterful set of skills. At this point, we reckon it might relate to someone who aims to achieve a higher degree in the ladder leading to its goals. These earthly characters, either by comparing themselves to gods, egotism, and vanity, or by performing an act of courageous rebellion against the traditional system, invoke less virtuous aspects of the divine entities, such as envy, jealousy, anger, rancor, or intolerance. The ultimate consequence of hubris is divine punishment. Such represents the external forces we cannot bend and compel us to otherwise adopt a humbler attitude. So this represents somebody who is narcissistic, somebody who it might be incredibly physically attractive, or maybe they have some kind of impressive skill, but that's all they've got going for them. And they use that to their advantage to manipulate people and break natural and spiritual laws. Yes, and then the next card we got is the Eight of Wands in the reverse. Now, in this deck, there are multiple different versions of the same card. So there are 3 different versions of the Eight of Wands. And this card has the all-seeing eye in it, which makes me feel like this encounter with this hubris being, this Mars energy, this masculine desire and ego, is this connection is being guided by your spirit team. I just got tingles again on the back of my head. So what you're experiencing now is meant to teach you a lesson, a very important lesson about how to use your analytical skills to determine whether something is actually gold or if it's a piece of plastic covered in gold, right? Like my meditation. This was meant to teach you something. This is meant to teach you that, you know, what everything that glitters isn't gold. What really matters is what's on the inside, their soul, their heart, and how they treat people. This feels like a very lustful desire and ego energy. You don't want that in your life, Gemini. No matter how hot they are. You don't want it. I'm telling you, it's just going to cause drama and chaos in your life. It'll be emotional turmoil the whole way through, with ups and downs and pushes and pulls and arguments and makeup sex and arguments and makeup sex over and over again. Now, if that's your thing and drama's your thing, then by all means, have fun. But I know for myself, I wouldn't last a week. So here we have the Death card in the reverse. And the Death card in the upright is an ending, of course. It's transformation. It's a dead end that leads to a new beginning. But with this card in the reverse, Gemini, you are having conflicting feelings about this person that's in and out of your life. You don't want it to end. You really don't. You want them to stay, but you also want them to be something that they're not as well. You're wanting them to be the pure gold head, but they're not. And at some point, you're going to have to accept that. And you can't change people either, Gemini. You can't expect somebody to change for you. You just can't do that. They have to do it on their own. They won't do it for you. They won't do it because of you. It's a hard truth, but it is a very important lesson. Yeah, you want this person to come back around, but you want them to commit to you. And from what I'm seeing right here, Gemini, that's not going to happen. This person has ego. They're egotistical and sexually driven. And then the last card we got here is the Five of Vessels. Now, fives always represent conflict, but they also represent a turning point in one's life. The number 5 is the midpoint between 1 and 9. 9 being completion energy, and 1 being individualization. So the number 5 is right in the middle. It marks a turning point in one's life, but it's usually a turning point because of conflict. Like, conflict and chaos cause our expansion and growth. And with Jupiter in your sign right now, Gemini, I mean, there's going to be a lot of that for the next year. I mean, Jupiter has not been in your sign for 12 years. That was 2012. Think about what was going on in 2012 for you and see if there's comparisons to make here. But the fives are usually an energy of conflict, strife, competition, jealousy, and anger. Let's read up a little bit on this card. Okay, the Five of Vessels. There are multiple different versions of this card as well, and we've got a Kali here, which is, oof, I love Kali. She's so beautiful. And there's another version of Kali. I don't know if you can see from there, but she's partially naked, so. All right. The Five of Vessels. The Five of Vessels, its element is ether. The head had a fine golden appearance? What? Look at the head. I didn't even notice that. The head is gold. Oh my God. Like my meditation. What? Okay, let's keep reading. Five of Vessels. The head had a fine golden appearance, but was cut off the trunk. Oh my gosh, the head in my meditation was just a head. It was cut off at the neck. Oh, I'm getting tingles like all over my body, chills. Ooh. Okay, let's keep going. The head had a fine golden appearance, but was cut off the trunk, and so were all of the limbs. The Five of Vessels exhibits an image of a man cut into pieces, while another character holds his severed head. At first sight, this violent picture suggests that something brutal must be done. The scene itself reminds us of the mythological figure of Kali, the Dark Mother. This fiercest form of the goddess decapitates the head of her opponent as a symbolic art of purification. We cannot speak of this theme without mentioning the concept of ego death. Many times explored in analytic psychology, this dark process of death and rebirth is a phase of self-surrender. That's exactly what the 12th house is here, Gemini. Look, the skull and the butterfly, death and rebirth, transformational energy. This is you. Spirit is telling you to harness the energy of Kali Ma, the beautiful dark mother. She cut the head off Raktabij, which was a high-level demon that was wreaking havoc on the world, stealing children. And she's the divine black mother. The anger that she had for Raktabij for taking the children put her into a rage, a divine rage, where she went out and destroyed all of the demons of the world and made it to Raktabij and cut his head off and drank his blood. So, and that's how she got rid of all the demons of the world. She had to drink all of their blood. So it is like a divine rage energy, and I feel like maybe that might be where you're at. This feels a lot like you were played, Gemini. Like you've been played and you are mad about it. You like don't want it to end and you want them to come back and commit, but you're also really mad about it. You're really mad about it. You feel a bit swindled. That's definitely the energy I'm getting. Okay. We cannot speak of this theme without mentioning the concept of ego death. Many times explored in analytic psychology, this dark process of death and rebirth is a phase of self-surrender and transition that refers to a fundamental transformation of the psyche. This humbling effort is part of the symbolic death in which the ego must die before we can be spiritually born. The severed man is, after all, the king we saw in the previous cards. The king's golden head represents the consciousness of the self. The golden head is held by the executioner, who forces it to watch his own body from a different perspective. Whoa, that's morbid. Oh, dang. The body symbolizes our own structures. This act of dismemberment compromises the habitual body stability. The executioner's identity remains a mystery. It could be seen as Saturn, the time, that demands adaptation and transformation. Or it could just be a projection of ourselves in an internal self-sacrifice, cutting off limbs as if they were old patterns and self-established practices. The swordsman will persevere the head in a secret place. The swordsman will preserve the head. The swordman will preserve the head in a secret place, like a treasure. In my meditation, it was a secret place. There was a pathway through a jungle, and I was following a white rabbit, and it was hidden in a secret place. Whoa. The swordsman will preserve the head in a secret place, like a treasure, far from external corruption. The head and its celestial condition are separated from the limbs. These represent the four elements and their symbolic attributes. I have killed thee, and thou mayest receive a superabundant life. But thy head I will carefully hide, that the worldly wantons may not find thee and destroy the earth. His sword implies that a different sacrifice must be done consciously. We know we need this. We just have to find the courage to act. In alchemy, to be made whole, one must be torn apart first. Beautiful. Oh my gosh, Gemini. See, this, you know, this person is divine. It is, because these people teach us things about ourselves. If we look at it in the right way, it will catapult you into spiritual growth and expansion. It's like, namaste that stuff, right? That's beautiful. God brings these experiences into our lives to teach us. It's not because God is malicious and spiteful. No, it's to teach us things. And that's what this card is all about. Beautiful. Oh my gosh, Gemini. Yes. Learning, growth, and expansion. Yeah, you're learning from this experience. You're beginning to see it for what it is. All right, Spirit, what else do we have for the sign of Gemini? Any more advice or wisdom for the sign of Gemini regarding this situation? Okay, that wanted to, did you see that? And look, that was fire. The deck got stuck and then the air card fell out. Look. That's you, Gemini. Air. And then look what's right next to it. Fire. That's fire and air. And in my meditation, I did see a lion. And there's a lion on the Mars card here. That's fire energy. And then we got hubris here, which is ruled by Mars. It's ruled by Mars, which is also, it's a fire sign. So it's like this person that you are involved with, Gemini, could quite possibly have been a fire sign. That's definitely what I'm getting here. Okay, Spirit, what else? Let's get 2 more shuffles. Fire, number 27. Air, number 28. All right, last shuffle. What else do you have to tell the sign of Gemini, please, Spirit? What else? What else for Gemini, please? What else for Gemini? What else do we have for Gemini, please, Spirit? Oh, that, I loved the way that came out. It was like, boink. Transmute. That's alchemy. That's what this card was all about. It was about turning a bad situation into something good. It's about divine rage. Turning divine rage, like being able to direct that energy towards the right things, is what it's all about. If you just rampage and are have no direction, right? I'm thinking of a dart on a dartboard, right? If you're not specific on where you direct that energy, you can misdirect it and cause more chaos in your life. But if you use that divine rage towards the right things, like, it is a very productive energy. It is exceptional, life-changing, transformative. Yes. Transmute. And, oh, my meditation with the apple. There was a snake that wrapped around the red apple and bit it on the top and made it poisonous. And the apple was so beautiful too. It was like the most perfect red apple. But it became poison.
And that is like the theme I am just getting for your reading here. Over and over again. Be careful of the illusions. All right, one more card out of this deck, please. What else do we have for Gemini? What else do we have for Gemini? Ooh, new life. The Ankh. Exactly. You're being called to transform into this new state of being, to become more spiritual and really decipher before you give your energy away to people, especially sexual energy, Gemini. I think in our day and age, we take it way too lightly. When you give away your sexual energy, that's like a piece of your soul, your Shakti, your prana. That is very important for your well-being. And if we're just giving it away to people, it'll drain you. It'll turn you into it'll put you in a lower vibrational state. And you want to try and maintain a higher vibrational state as much as you can, because that's how you're going to attract what you really want into your life. So you got to protect your energy. And sexual energy is very divine. It is very important and spiritual. You don't want to just give it away to anybody. Now, these are my personal opinions and how I feel intuitively. I mean, there's beauty and purpose and everything, but I know for me on my path and in my progression, I've learned from my mistakes of giving away my sexual energy that it's very unfulfilling when you end up in these situations where you've given your sexual energy away to somebody and they just throw it away. You know, they just treat it like it was worthless. And that's very painful. And I don't know about you, but I'm a very sensitive person. And so when things like that happen, where you give a piece of yourself to someone and they disrespect that or don't appreciate it the way that it should be appreciated, I mean, it's painful. It is very hurtful and sad. So you got to protect yourself. Have some more self-worth, because your energy is priceless. All right, I want to get a card out of my new deck. So this is my new deck. It's called the Oracle of Pluto. And of course, I had to get the Oracle of Pluto because we've got Pluto in retrograde right now. So I've only used this deck once. I used it last night for Taurus's reading, and I already am in love with this deck. So, Pluto is like, it's Scorpio, right? And Scorpio sits in the 8th house, which is all about taboo, magic, the macabre, the unusual. And Pluto is all about transformational energy. It makes us face our shadows, the dark sides of ourselves that most people are too afraid to look at. It's just shadow work, right? It's dark work. Facing your fears and insecurities. And that's where you get the biggest gems. That's where you find the biggest gems, is in your pain, in your heartbreak and sorrow. There's gems there, diamonds, poetry. Yes. All right, Spirit, what else do we have for the sign of Gemini, please? Let's get 2 more shuffles. That's 1. And 2. All right, Spirit. else for the sign of Gemini, please? What else do we have out of this deck for the sign of Gemini, please? What else for Gemini? Ooh, that's too many cards, but the first card that popped out is hen. So I'm going to take it. The hen, the hippo. Okay, I'm going to put these ones back. These cards are just, since they're new, they're really crispy and a little bit sticky. So too many cards came out, but let's take these two cards and see what it has to say. The hen and the hippo. Okay, the hen. I love this. It says, this deck is dedicated to anyone who has dared to traverse their inner landscape and unearth the power that lay dormant there. Love that. Okay. The hen, number 33. Okay. The hen, meaning submission. Hens are notoriously submissive animals. When a rooster approaches one, she will crouch down immediately into a squat in preparation for mating. Gemini, that's been like your whole reading. What? Submission, the hen. When a rooster approaches one, she will crouch down immediately into a squat in preparation for mating. Without attention and intervention from a farmer, hens will submit so often that their health will start to deteriorate. That's exactly what I was talking about. Like, when you give your energy away sexually, it will deteriorate your well-being. Your whole spiritual body, your shakti, your prana will deplete. Like, not good. That's how you manifest like illnesses into your life, physical ailments. If your spiritual energy is low, you're gonna manifest all kinds of bad stuff. Okay. Hens will submit so often that their health will start to deteriorate. While submission isn't inherently bad, the absence of appropriate strong boundaries swiftly makes it so. To pull the hen card in a reading indicates that there are certain power dynamics at play, and the circumstances are asking you to grapple with the idea of submission, especially if the rooster card has also been pulled. Each of us falls into submission somewhere in our lives. There are times when it is necessary, but it's likely this card is pointing to an interpersonal relationship and asking if you've become too submissive, too meek to somebody else. If a certain person or relationship immediately comes to mind as you read the description of this card, you're right on the money. How are you playing small? How are you showing up as a lesser version of yourself? And more importantly, how can you reclaim your confidence and power? That's exactly what I was saying. You need to work on your self-confidence, value yourself, your soul, your energy. It's priceless. It really, really, truly is, Gemini. Wow. Okay, let's find out about hippo. That was bang on, pun intended. All right, hippo. Let's read about hippo. Elephant, boar, squirrel, swan, bear, cub, rabbit, lion, camel, frog, for hippo. 78. 78. Okay.
The hippo.
The meaning of hippo is abundance, reaping rewards,
And indulgence.
a heavyweight in the animal kingdom. The hippo is the third largest mammal behind the elephant and white rhino. The incredible mass of the hippopotamus represents the themes of abundance, expansion, and indulgence. And if you've pulled the hippo card, you are in the flow of it.
Yes, that was 5 of vessels, and that's Jupiter and Gemini energy. You have the opportunity to reap the rewards. If you learn this lesson, there will be copious rewards for doing so, spiritual rewards that will begin to manifest into your life.
Okay, the hippo card. If you've pulled the hippo card, you're in the flow of it. This card will always be a welcome sight in a reading, as we should be experiencing abundance in many and maybe all areas of our lives. There is a jovial energy that comes along with the hippo, as we are deeply in the flow of gratitude when this card is present. You may be entertaining your every indulgence and rewarding yourself for all your hard work. Just make sure to not go overboard or hoard all the good things to yourself. The hippo asks us to share our wealth, literally and figuratively, with those we love. After you've taken a moment to treat yourself, remember that you will eventually have to get to work again to create even more moments of abundance in your life. Further reflection. In astrology, Jupiter is the planet we look to for abundance. That's what I just said. And we've got Jupiter in Gemini. In astrology, Jupiter is the planet we look to for abundance. The house it sits in represents the area of life where we've always experienced a certain ease. Others may view us as particularly lucky in this area. The sign that Jupiter sits in points to the energy we can embody to kick in the Jupiterian themes of expansion, opportunity, growth, and good fortune. Locate Jupiter in your chart and research its meaning to further cultivate the energy of hippo. Gemini.
This is so clear.
Thank you so much, Spirit.
I mean, it couldn't get more clear.
Spirit is obviously asking you to release this old way of thinking, this provocative way of
Giving your energy away too quickly with the hen card here.
just giving yourself away too fast. Spirit is telling you to use this
Energy of Jupiter in your sign to transform spiritually and start looking at relationships in a different way. And looking at your personal confidence, your personal value, looking at that in a different way as well.
recognizing that you are
So valuable. And somebody else, if they don't see that, you don't want those kind of people in your life. Not even for a day. Not even for a day.
not even for a day, Gemini.
I mean, they teach us things. There are things that happen in my life that have taught me things, and they were horrible. It was a horrible experience, but I don't know if I would have learned the lesson otherwise. So have gratitude for this with the hippo card here too. Have gratitude for this experience because it's given you the opportunity to learn something very important.
All right, Spirit, let's get one card out of the Incarnations deck and one card out of the Lenora deck. Wow, Gemini, I certainly hope that you take Spirit's advice here. I really do. You know, I really feel like now is such an important time. The energy is ripe for transformation with Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And I am really looking forward to raising the vibration of the planet. But it takes all of us to do it. And we have to start with ourselves first. We have to start with ourselves. Gandhi said, be the change you wish to see in the world. Right? So we gotta do the internal transformation before we can see it manifest in the world around us. All right, Spirit, what else do we have for the sign of Gemini, please? Let's get 2 more shuffles. That's 1. Last shuffle. All right, Spirit, what else do you have for the sign of Gemini? Any more advice or wisdom, please, for the sign of Gemini? What else for Gemini, please? What else for Gemini, Spirit? What else do we have for Gemini? The Traveler. That's Jupiter energy as well. Jupiter symbolizes expansion and travel, good fortune, and self-realization. Yes, more Jupiter energy. This could also mean, too, traveling away from this old way of thinking, moving away. When you travel, you move from one point to the next, right? And that is definitely what I'm feeling here. Spirit is encouraging you to travel from this one point of being, this one perspective of being, to the next one. It's time to level up, baby. Level up time. All right, anything else out of this deck, please, Spirit? What else for Gemini? Anything else for Gemini? What else for Gemini out of this deck? Anything else? Anything else for Gemini? Anything else out of this deck for Gemini? Okay. The Illusionist, Gemini. That's what I've been talking about. That is like the #1 theme to this whole reading, is all that glitters isn't gold. Be careful. Be cautious of illusions. It might look good from the outside, but on the inside, it's missing its batteries and it's just a piece of plastic. Be careful to not succumb to the illusions with the illusionist here. Wow, thank you so much, Spirit. Let's get one final card for the sign of Gemini out of the little Lenora deck. I just split the deck and we've got Moon and Fox here. And we just had your new moon in Gemini. And the fox symbolizes the trickster. Trickster, another trickster. Trickster under the moonlight. Yeah, the moon symbolizes our deep subconscious. It illuminates the shadows within us and without us. Without of us. Yeah. Yeah, there was a tricky person here. Somebody that put on a mask, for sure. Made you think that they were something that they're not. And you send them love, you know. Use this divine anger and focus it on positive things that are actually going to help in your life. And send this person love, because people that, they're clearly unevolved. People that put on masks and fronts like that and treat others poorly and, you know, run or just use people like they're sick. They're unevolved and they've got a lot of work to do. Like a lot of work. a lot of work. Ugh. It makes me tired just thinking about it. They've got a lot of spiritual work to do, you know? Send them love, wish them well on their journey, and then travel away from that, protect your own energy, and focus on you, Gemini. All right, last shuffle. Okay, what else, Spirit? Anything else? Final card for the Gemini reading. Is there anything else you wish to tell the Geminis of this story, please? Any other words of advice or wisdom for the Geminis that this story belongs to? Anything else, Spirit? Fish. The fish. The fish is a very spiritual symbol. It's commonly depicted in Christian imagery. Like the fish is Jesus energy. And look, there's a lotus here. Lotuses are a beautiful flower that grow out of the murkiness, the swamps. They feed off of the swamp. It's a beautiful flower that manifests from the darkness. Yes, this experience is meant to teach you and help you grow to become a beautiful lotus flower. Look, those are koi fish too. I'll have to look up the symbolism of koi fish. This number is 34, and the hippo was number 30, or the hen was 33, one of the two. So this is like progressive energy, 33 to 34. In this card too, I find it interesting that we've got the letter K right here. So I don't know if that makes sense for you in your story or is relevant for you in your story, but I would like to make note of that. All right, Gemini, what an amazing reading today. I hope that this was helpful, and I wish you well on this journey, this spiritual journey of expansion and growth as you experience Jupiter in your sign. I am wishing you all the luck and good fortune in the world, and I cannot wait to see you again in the next reading. Namaste.